They say love can make you do crazy things. But what happens when the person you trusted the most turns their back on you at the worst possible moment? Imagine finding out you're carrying his child, dreaming about building a future together, only to be blindsided by betrayal. That's exactly what happened to me. The CEO I gave my heart to, the man I thought would stand by me no matter what, suddenly chose someone else, his side chick, while I was pregnant and vulnerable. Can you believe that? Left all alone, with a growing life inside me, and nothing but shattered promises. At first, I thought maybe it was a misunderstanding. Maybe he was under some kind of pressure, or confused by his feelings. But as days passed, the truth became impossible to ignore. The texts, the calls I didn't get back, the secret meetings I overheard about someone else. Everything pointed to the same painful reality. The man I loved was slipping away, and there was nothing I could do to stop it. It wasn't just heartbreak. It was a betrayal that cut deeper than I ever thought possible. I kept asking myself, how could he abandon me like that when I needed him most? This story isn't just about a broken relationship. It's about strength, survival, and the unexpected twists life throws at us. When I decided to walk away, leaving him and his world behind, with nothing but my baby, and the will to fight, I never imagined the impact it would have. I wasn't just leaving a man, I was leaving a life full of lies and half-truths. But what shocked me the most was how quickly everything changed after I was gone. Suddenly, he was the one regretting, the one desperate to fix what he broke. But was it too late? Could he ever make things right after turning his back on me and our child? In this video, you'll hear everything. The secrets, the heartbreak, and the unexpected moments of courage that shaped my journey. You'll meet the CEO who thought he could walk away without consequences, and see how life has a way of catching up to us all. I want you to understand what it's really like to be abandoned during the most vulnerable time, and how sometimes the hardest choice is to leave and start over on your own terms. There's more to this story than just betrayal. It's about the power of motherhood, the strength in standing alone, and the fiery determination to protect what matters most. I'll share the moments of doubt, the nights filled with tears, and the quiet victories that came from refusing to be a victim. You'll see how I navigated the messy, painful aftermath and found a new path, one he never saw coming. But before I tell you what happened next, I have to ask, what would you do if the person you trusted most not only betrayed you but also tried to erase your place in their life? Would you fight back or walk away and hope for a better future? Because that's exactly the choice I had to make. And trust me, it wasn't easy. The tension, the unanswered questions, and the looming confrontations still haunt me. So stay with me, because the story doesn't end here. This is just the beginning, the moment when everything fell apart and my real journey began. You'll soon find out how he reacted when I left, how the side chick's world started to crumble, and what shocking truths came to light when the dust settled. The part where he realizes what he lost and wishes he could turn back time. If you've ever felt betrayed, abandoned, or forced to choose between love and self-respect, this story is for you. It's raw, real, and full of lessons about trusting yourself when no one else will. So buckle up, because this isn't just a story about a cheating CEO. It's about survival, empowerment, and the fight to reclaim your life when everything seems lost. I promise you, by the end of this series, you'll understand why walking away was the best decision I ever made, and why now he's the one left regretting it all. But for now, let me take you back to the moment it all fell apart, the moment I realized that the life I thought I was building was just a fragile illusion, and from there, everything changed forever. After I left, people kept asking me how I could walk away when I was pregnant. Why I didn't try harder to fix things. The truth is, sometimes love isn't enough, especially when trust is shattered. Before everything fell apart, I want you to understand what our relationship was like, because it wasn't always this painful. He was the CEO of a booming company, confident, charming, and seemingly unstoppable. When we first met, it felt like a dream. He made me feel special, like I was the only one who mattered in his busy world. I believed in the future we talked about, in the life we were supposed to build together. But as the months passed, cracks started to show. His attention drifted, calls became shorter, and I noticed strange patterns that didn't add up. At first, I told myself I was imagining things. Maybe he was stressed or overwhelmed by work. But deep down, I feared the worst. The late nights, the hidden phone messages, the way he avoided eye contact. All signs I couldn't ignore. When I finally confronted him, hoping for honesty and reassurance, he broke my heart in the coldest way possible. He admitted there was someone else, a woman he'd been seeing behind my back. That moment shattered everything. I was carrying his child, and instead of standing by me, he chose her. The side chick wasn't just some fling. She was someone he planned to build a life with, someone he wanted to keep in the shadows, while pretending to be the perfect partner to me. I felt humiliated, abandoned, and completely alone. How could someone who promised forever toss me aside like I was nothing? Leaving wasn't easy. I was scared about facing the world as a single mom, worried about what people would say, and terrified about the future. But I knew staying in that toxic situation was worse. So I packed my bags, took my baby's ultrasound pictures, and walked out the door, determined to protect my child and rebuild my life on my own terms. I didn't tell him where I was going or when I'd be back. I just disappeared from his world. What I didn't expect was the storm that followed. At first, I heard nothing from him. Then, out of nowhere, his calls and messages started pouring in. Apologies, promises, even desperate pleas for forgiveness. It was as if losing me made him realize how much he had taken for granted. But I wasn't ready to listen, not yet. I needed to heal, to find my own strength, and to figure out who I was without him. Meanwhile, the side chick thought she had won. But life has a way of revealing truths. She underestimated how complicated things really were, and how much he was willing to lose for a second chance with me. Rumors began swirling in the company and social circles. Whispers about the CEO's messy personal life and his crumbling relationship with the woman he left behind. The perfect image he had worked so hard to build was cracking, and everyone was watching. My family and friends became my anchor. They saw my pain and my determination, encouraging me to focus on my baby and myself. I started working again, slowly rebuilding my confidence. But every step forward was shadowed by the question, would he come back for us? And if he did, could I trust him again? The tension grew. I could feel the invisible battle lines being drawn. Between me and the side chick. Between what was lost and what might still be saved. It wasn't just about love or betrayal anymore. It was about respect, trust, and the future of a child. Caught in the middle of it all, each day brought new challenges, legal threats, emotional blackmail, and moments when I doubted if I could really do this alone. But what made it even more complicated was the CEO himself. He wasn't just some villain in this story. Beneath his arrogance and mistakes was a man struggling with regret and guilt, someone who suddenly realized that the life he threw away was more valuable than any deal or status. Watching him wrestle with his own demons added layers to our story, showing that sometimes even the strongest fall apart. As my due date approached, everything reached a breaking point. The side chick grew more aggressive, trying to push her way into the life we were creating. The CEO's apologies turned into promises he didn't keep, leaving me with more questions than answers. And me? I had to decide how much I was willing to fight for my dignity, my baby, and the future I dreamed of. Right now, the story is hanging on a knife's edge. Will he finally step up and be the father our child deserves? Or will he lose us forever, drowning in his own mistakes? And what will happen when the truth about the side chick's intentions comes to light? The coming days will reveal everything. Stay with me, because the next part will take you deeper into the drama, the heartbreak, and the unexpected turns that no one saw coming. This isn't just a story about a cheating CEO. It's about standing strong when the world tries to break you, and the fierce love that refuses to be ignored. You won't want to miss what happens next. The tension that had been building finally exploded one afternoon when everything came crashing down. I never expected the side chick to show up at my doorstep with a shocking revelation, one that changed everything. She confessed that she hadn't known about my pregnancy until recently, and that the CEO had lied to both of us. She thought she was the other woman with no future, but he had no plans to leave me for her. Hearing that broke the last piece of my heart, but also gave me a new clarity. This man had been using both of us. Caught in his own selfish web of lies, the CEO reached out again, this time not with empty apologies, but with a desperate plea to meet. I was torn, but I needed answers. Not just for me, but for my baby. When we finally sat down, I looked into the eyes of the man I once loved and the one I barely recognized. He admitted he had been scared. Scared of becoming a father, scared of responsibility, and scared of losing his carefully controlled life. But losing me made him realize what truly mattered. He wasn't asking for an easy path back. He was asking for a chance to prove himself. The confrontation with the side chick led to a surprising alliance. She decided to step away, realizing that fighting over a man who treated us both poorly wasn't worth it. It wasn't a perfect ending for her, but it was honest. And sometimes honesty is the hardest thing to find. As the months went on, the CEO showed up in my life in small but meaningful ways, attending doctor's appointments, preparing for the baby, and slowly earning back my trust. It wasn't instant, and it wasn't easy. We had to rebuild from scratch, brick by brick. But most importantly, I saw that he was willing to change, not just for me, but for our child. When my baby was born, it was a moment of pure joy and healing. The CEO was there, holding my hand, overwhelmed with emotion. In that tiny life, we found a new beginning, a chance to put the past behind us and focus on what really mattered: family, trust, and love that's stronger than mistakes. Looking back, this story isn't just about betrayal or heartbreak. It's about resilience, the strength to walk away when you have to, and the courage to forgive when you're ready. It's about knowing your worth, standing up for yourself, and never settling for less than you deserve. Most of all, it's about hope, the hope that even in the darkest times, life can surprise you with a second chance. So, if you're going through something similar, remember, you're not alone. Sometimes, the hardest roads lead to the brightest destinations. And sometimes, the person who left you is the one who will regret it the most. But the real victory, that's in how you rise from the fall. Thanks for listening to my story. If you want to hear more, stay tuned, because life always has another chapter waiting to be told.